HIPC. What is the HIPC, or Highest International Police Commission? What is its mission and vision? HIPC International Police Commission is a non-governmental, non-sectarian and non-political organization with SEC registration number, CN 2017195660. Mission: to become a distinct organization committed to support the global law enforcement community in their efforts to prevent and resolve crime against humanity, to promote global peace, to foster humanitarian cooperation and to establish security whenever appropriate. Vision: the International Police Commission (IPC) serves as a catalyst for peaceful global environment. We provide worldwide services essential for private entities, government authorities and law enforcement agencies by assisting them resolve crime against humanity. When? Where? And who built it? And is it a backup of the law? The HIPC was established on October 24–25, 1966 under Republic Act 5445, when the Manila Summit Conference was held at the Royal Palace Malacanang by former President Ferdinand Edrelin Marcos along with leaders of member nations of the United Nations. And the following year, January 24–25, 1967, it came under Republic Act 5446 when the Volcanic Conference was held at the Royal Palace Malacanang. Question: why was HIPC founded? What was its function then? And who is its supreme commander? During the time of the former president, his opponents formed the leftist group and carried out massacres and bombings at various government branch offices, and these leftist groups blamed it on former President Marcos as they acted. Because of President Marcos' desire that after the atrocities committed by the leftist groups he turned some of the members of the IPC into government intelligence units and given the blessing to enter the leftist group without knowing the true identity to capture and subdue the government them. Unfortunately, when the former President Marcos was abducted, some IPC members left the group and left no choice but to stay put. And the rest of the generals already had their way overseas. Some went to America. One way to the US was General Prieto to continue the IPC and was even registered by a general in Sacramento, California, and it also had auxiliary unit here in the Philippines that they have filed with the SEC with the International Supreme Coordinating Commando Network, Inc. And its SUPMI commander was General Alfredo Bartolome and his deputy commander was General Ginny N. Pico. But when General Bartolome passed away and succeeded him as Supreme Commander, General Ginny N. Pico was the current Supreme Commander. Why do many people say that HIPC is fake or not? It's true that HIPC really became a fake. Since the time of Noynoy Aquino, issued a memorandum order in 2011 by the DILG and was then Sec. Jesse Robredo stated that all identifiers of IPC or HIPC will be arrested because they are fake. And even though they know this organization is true, but we know the real reason they are ousting HIPC members is because it was founded by former President Marcos. However, we know that almost all the projects that were created during President Marcos' time were not to be sold and were renamed, and others erased and even defamed former President Marcos. And since then the HIPC Philippine Command has been silent. But as Supreme Commander General Ginny N. Pico succeeds as Supreme Commander, he registered with the SEC on May 30, 2017, meaning that there has been a legal HIPC registered with the SEC, since it cannot be two, or more can be ordered. It is also registered with the BIR because the SEC has allowed us to receive the registration fee before our funds are available, and for badges, IDs, mission orders, ATM cards, and others for the operational expenses of our office. If in the car you need fuel to run. And we are audited by BIR yearly. Also included in the legalities are barangay permit, mayor's permit, sanitary permit and other important documents. We have also been given a DSWD license to operate. Coordinated with various government agencies such as AFP, PNP, DND, DILG, LTO, DFA and others. All of which are backup of the corresponding documents. HIPC and the PNP have joined forces in various operations such as Checkpoint and Safe Undas. So the real HIPC is the one who holds the documents without saying anything but showing nothing. Why are some groups claiming to be the truth because they were the original IPC or HIPC groups? Being first or foremost is not the basis of a group's legitimacy because the only basis is documents. It is true that there were earlier groups such as General Luciano Prieto's But there was a breakaway between General Prieto and General Alfredo Bartholomew went on to have his own group, but only one of them was able to register in the SEC. To cut the long story short, it was actually registered at the time of the current Supreme Commander General Ginny N. Pico because he was appointed Supreme Commander in place of General Alfredo Bartholomew when he died. If they say the original and legit group has already registered with the SEC before being registered by the current Supreme Commander General Ginny N. Pico, they would not have been legit and the SEC would not accept the filing of Gen's application for registration again. Ginny Pico because there is a law in the SEC that double registration cannot be registered because only one must be registered. They also have the SEC registration number, but that is the registration number of the auxiliary unit of IPCN International Supreme Coordinating Commando Network, Inc. and IPC or HIPC. So it is clear that we are the ones who hold the true document. And it is not the former that bases it but who registers it, that's true. It sounds like Peter and John are both inventors, but Peter did the invention so he just didn't register it with the patenting office, so when John tried to patent it in his name, he was given patent certificate is now an emerging and recognized inventor and Peter is no longer the real inventor. Peter cannot re-register because Peter has already registered or patented such an invention in his name. John. So whatever Peter says is nothing he can do and it will appear hearsay he invented it because he does not have the patent certificate. And that's the same thing with HIPC, the legal one is who owns the document. What will be the function of HIPC in the future? How many departments does HIPC have? What are they? The function of the HIPC as it is established is that it is a member of the UN ECOSOC project or regulatory body of the United Nations Economic, Social and Cultural Council. ECOSOC was developed by the United Nations under Article 55, 56, 62 for the massive worldwide humanitarian project. Our job as a member of the humanitarian police is to oversee humanitarian projects. The HIPC is divided into two departments, A. Provost Marshal, they will oversee the peace and order. B. Humanitarian, they will oversee the humanitarian project. Question? Where will the funding for the UN ECOSOC massive humanitarian project come from? This is coming from the World Bank, which has been huge since its inception, and even then its interest rate has been low as it has been growing at 4% per annum. For those who are unfamiliar with the World Bank's general beneficiary and general owners are people of the Philippines, and the income for the Philippines and the Filipinos is up to 70% of total funding. And about 30% of the people of the world only minority beneficiary. Maybe you wonder why people of the Philippines are the general beneficiaries of the World Bank because they are Filipino-owned and established. The World Bank was founded in 1944 by Ati Ferdinand Edralin Marcos and Father José Antonio Diaz aka Colonel Severino Sta. Roman. The two of them placed a gold bullion backup worth 500 dodecillions in the World Bank through the Bretton Woods Agreement, and the Filipino beneficiaries have made it. And this is confirmed by the Infinite Bank statements released by the Committee of 300 and has been signed by several world leaders. Thus the Philippines became rich and the Filipinos insisted that the Spanish documents be erased, but not all were erased. That is what the conquering nations are doing to erase the history of their colonized country, so few know, but with the help of social media more and more are waking up to the truth. And as the ECOSOC project implementation begins and nears, the HIPC Philippine Command will have a big role to play as the various nations that are members of the United Nations will take the fund. And that is also why there is an H in our IPC, we are the highest because we have the funds. Why is the Alpha Omega World Development Marshall Program linked to HIPC? Because HIPC has been commissioned in the Alpha Omega World Development Marshall Program as an implementator of Project UN ECOSOC, and the AOWDMP is our global funder. Question? When was AOWDMP established? Who founded it? And who is its current chairman? It was founded in 98 AD by Marcus Ulfius Trajanus Trajan, who was the ancestor of its current world chairman HM King Tiburcio Villamor Marcos Tagian Talano IV, and is the sole signatory of the Code of Flak Quran. Question? Why is there 666 in the code used by King TVM? Deba number of the beast it? The 666 used codename by King TVM LSM 666 is the weight or weight of gold that comes to King Solomon every year. 2 Chronicles chapter 9 verse 13 KJV. In other translations you cannot read 666 because they use other units, especially the MBB version 23310 used the unit, but that's the same thing. If I were to join HIPC today, what are the requirements? Just read and write, Filipino citizen, 2x2 ID picture, and a membership fee of 3,200 pesos for badges, IDs, mission orders, ATM cards and more will go for the operational expenses of the office before we have the funds. Is implementation still pending? There is still a free membership fee, but there are certain requirements such as required at least 4 years college graduate, 18 to 28 years old, and physically fit because he needs to undergo 6 months special training because they will be UN peacekeeping force to be sent in case of conflict in other countries. Is there a wage on HIPC? Has anyone ever been paid? There will be wages, but for now implementation has not stopped because you will be paid without a job. How much will the HIPC member pay? Salaries of HIPC members will be based on what you rank. And let's talk about the lowest private rank. He will pay 88,000 plus pesos. Well, if that is the case, then how can the rank of general be as high? Wages will be high because they will prevent corruption, so every member will be given a fair wage. And the wages here are based on the London rate because in London even the householders pay more or less 90,000 pesos. So if you want to make a good income and provide a good standard of living for your family, this is your chance. But you won't bet on it if you are not involved, so now he will decide to join in, so we will stop hiring and you will miss the opportunity to come closer to you. Let's not hinder 3,200 pesos for not join in with the opportunity available to you. Thank you for watching. Long live HIPC. Knowledge by Brigadier General Jonathan Larita, Provost Marshal Region 4A and IVB.